live sobre o Helium10. Para quem não me conhece, meu nome é Jéssica Colobuono, sou especialista e expert Amazon, além de ser former Amazon, ou seja, sou ex-Amazon, trabalhei lá dentro por alguns anos. E hoje eu tô com uma convidada super especial. And now we're gonna switch to English because today the content is gonna be absolutely amazing. This is my first content ever made in English, so I'm very, very excited and more excited because I have this special guest. So keep your, I cannot even, I'm just so excited. So let's just breathe. Okay, Jessica, you can totally do this. You have a gringo husband, so you got this. Okay, guys, so just waiting for you guys to start connecting your phones, connecting your computers, and let's go. Let me see here if everything is just set, if our guest is here. Yes, she has arrived. So I'm very excited to introduce you this amazing brand evangelist, Shivali Patel. I'll just add her here in our beautiful stage. Welcome, Shivali. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Did I enunciate your name correctly?
You did. It was proper.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Well, thank you very much for your time today to share this amazing content about Helium10. I'm a fan of the brand for a very long time. As I already mentioned here, I was, for Amazon, and everybody used to talk about a lot about this amazing tool, but only after I was able to use it as a seller. So pretty excited to have you here. So I would love you to introduce yourself to everyone because I do know you a little bit. I know you have an amazing career, but I'll be happy to hear directly from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello to those of you that are watching. My name is Shivali Patel. I'm a senior brand evangelist at Helium10, as well as an Amazon seller who sells both digital and physical products. So I've been in the game since about 2020, and since then I've been able to help out thousands and thousands of sellers from all walks of life, different backgrounds, different journeys. So, regardless of if you are a brand new seller or you've been established for a little bit of time, there is something to take away from today's session. We're going to be covering product research. However, maybe if you already have some products launched, you can take today's session really as a way to figure out what or how really you want to go about your next launch, your next product launch, especially if you care to expand that product line. So I'm really excited to share what I'm going to do today. And I hope that those of you that are watching have a Helium10 account. And if you do, I encourage you to open up the Helium10 account onto a different browser and follow along. I think that really is the best way to learn is by doing things hands-on. I could explain things to you A to Z all day long, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But if you are not actually going in and doing it yourself, well, it's not knowledge itself that's the power, it's the implementation of it, right? You want to actually go in and do stuff. So make sure you are taking those action item steps.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Vali. So people are connecting here through Instagram and to YouTube. So I'm streaming with both of them. But if you are watching through Instagram today, is a big class, so you must watch it on YouTube. It's going to be amazing. We're sharing the screen. We're doing everything you need to know to find a profitable product on Amazon, but especially we're using this amazing tool, which is the Helium10, which most people that live in the United States already know, because for me, it's just the number one. It has everything you need. It's just one-stop shop. And well, let's just dive right in. I think today we have I'm an Amazon specialist, but Shivali, she really knows the system that we're gonna really learn a little bit more about. And I think what you just said, Shivali, is just amazing because just a small piece of curiosity from Brazil. Here, usually people don't have this. I would say time and patience to develop a product. And this is like a common knowledge already for Americans, right? Every entrepreneur or small business man and woman, you really take your time to research and try to understand the market because, Amazon is already a very, very well established, uh, system website. So the competition is just very high. So if you don't do this like homework before you even start your business, you probably will fail very fast, because if you just go right in and try to do whatever you think without research, that's the worst idea ever. So I would love to start with like this question that I wrote down, because um, most of people that watch me or do like consultations, and they ask me a lot of questions, they're beginners, and sometimes they ask me like, wow, Helium10 seems very professional, and sometimes it's overwhelming for them. So I would like to start with a few quick tips for those types of users, the beginners, right? And then maybe along this live we can just move forward with like the advanced knowledge, and I have a few questions about some of the tools that I'm a huge fan of, black box and X-ray and stuff. So let's go.
Yeah. So just so those of you that are watching have a good, proper understanding of Helium10 itself, if you are not acquainted, it's a software suite of tools. That means there's a bunch of different tools for different aspects of the selling journey, regardless of if you are in product research trying to figure out what the heck should I sell? Like, let's say you wanted to start selling online and you didn't know the first thing about what to sell, how to sell it, any of that stuff, that's okay. Because with a Helium10 subscription, you naturally actually get access to information about how to sell on Amazon. There's actually a whole associated course module that you can get. And all of our tools come with videos. So we'll jump into that in a moment, but you have product research. We also go into keyword research tools, listing build outs. We go into marketing, operations, kind of managing the numbers of your business once you have it up and listed. So as just said, it really is an all-in-one platform. You can run your whole business from inside of Helium10. With that being said, how do you really digest all of those moving pieces? Because there's so many of them. That's cool. As I said, hands-on practice being number one. Two, all of the tools come with videos. So at the top of all of our tools, first of all, when you're logged into the account, you'll notice at the top you have a toolbar. And when you click the toolbar, all of the tools are divvied out into different sections. So if you're in product research, you just have to focus on the tools that are underneath product research and so forth. And so when you go into whatever tool it is you're taking a look at, for example, Blackbox is our primary product research tool that processes over 2 billion data points every single day.
Wow.
Way more data than you or I would really be able to manually sift through. What you can do is click the learn button at the very top. It's on the right-hand corner, and I'll show it to you when I share my screen, but you can just click it and follow along. So there's 2 or 3 minute videos that you can just watch, tap into, learn a little bit, and then try it out for yourself. And through that process, you'll kind of just build confidence and be able to more comfortably make informed decisions that you're not basing your whole business based off intuition, just feeling like, oh, I feel like this will be a good product idea. This will actually be a good product idea because you're basing it off the data. You really know how to use the tool. You've watched the videos. And all of our filters, most of our tools come with filters. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say that I'm looking for something that people are already searching for. Amazon's not somewhere that you go and you're like, I got to convince somebody to buy on this platform. Most people just use it as a search engine. We say, hey, I really need to buy this gray journal, right? And it's for shadow work, let's say. So a shadow work gray journal. I'm looking for something really specific now. And that specificity comes handy because most of our consumers are typing something into the search bar. And our goal is to find those niches where there's really great demand, like a lot of people are searching for it. There's low enough competition where we can go onto the market and actually take a piece of the pie. And at the same time, we can incentivize the consumer to pick our product over the others. So there's some sort of value add, or maybe you're competing on price point, or maybe both, or the images are better, whatever the case may be. So all of these things can come really, really handy. And those sorts of filters are inside of all of our tools because opportunity will be defined by you. You might have a different capital than I do, or a different interest. Maybe you're interested in kitchen or home decor, and that might be something different from me. Maybe I'm interested in the sports and outdoor category. And so these sort of things, all the filters come with a little eye icon, and you could just hover over and it'll show you or tell you what that filter does. So there's little technicalities that you can kind of like tap into as you're going through the actual tools. And that will help you understand how to use it. And then hopefully as you are getting more and more practice, you'll just feel, more confident.
Absolutely. I think what you just said in the beginning for everyone that is watching, if you don't have an account, you should definitely start right now, because this is your opportunity not only to start using this tool, but to also start and learn at the same time. So this is just unique opportunity. So just don't miss out. Just use the link below. So we have a lot of promotions there, so special prices for you Latino American people, my peeps, people from Brazil. You have a special discount that I got it for you. Don't worry. I know you really want to use Helium10, so I got you. I have special links down there, so you can start right now. So Shivali will share her screen, and she will walk us through a few tools that you can definitely use to find your profitable product. Because when we're talking about finding products, that all that thing about mining, right, finding your own gold, the key here is always looking for demand, but when nobody's looking. It's like everybody wants, but there's no seller selling that. So that's the gold you have to look for, because most of us, we are driven to trends, right, Shivali? Like everybody's just looking through TikTok or Instagram or whatever. So but after you go to Amazon to really see, oh, I would love to sell this, but there are like hundreds of people already selling. Super hard to be profitable, because in the end of the day, we want the money, we want the margins, we want successful business. And what you also said in the beginning, Shivali, like we start with just one product, and then we develop along the way other opportunities. And this is the kind of tool that you don't have to, oh, I think, or oh, my neighbor said that. No, with data, you created like a shield from anything that is just, oh, I think I saw. So let's just keep watching. You will find your profitable product today. So let's go, Shivali. Let's show them what Helium10 can do for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's jump into it. Now I'm going to see if I can. Cool. Hopefully you can see my screen. I think we have to toss it up.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, cool. So we are currently inside of Blackbox. And what we are taking a look at here is we're underneath the tool section. As I mentioned before, all of our tools are split up into different categories of the selling journey. If you're in product research, you will want to spend a bulk of your time right here. If you are doing some keyword research to validate your product ideas, you might kind of toggle into this area as well during your product research section. However, for the most part, these are pretty clean cut. So you can go in, and then at any point, let's say you are a little bit further out in your selling journey, we have this up top. So this is what I was talking about, the black box training. This is for this tool. You will see that for all of our tools. And the eye icons right here will give you a pretty basic understanding of what that filter does. Now, inside of Blackbox, this is what we use to find a product to sell by evaluating products, keywords, competitors, and more. So as you can see, lots of different options here to discover and sift all of that data on Amazon. Remember, guys, there's so many ways to do product research. I understand that you can maybe be in a store and you notice that a lot of people are flocking to a particular product. You'll still want to check what that demand looks like on Amazon, because that sort of demand can really vary based off platform. It doesn't mean it won't do well, but it means that you will want to ensure the demand will still stand on the actual platform itself. Maybe Jess and I are having a conversation and she tells me something. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a problem that needs to be solved. And I think of a solution for that. That is also a great way to do product research. However, if you want to actually see what things are like on the platform, this is a great place to go. So let's get into it. We're not going to cover all of these necessarily, but we'll kind of touch on them. And we'll run through a demo. Hopefully you guys have this open and you are following along. We'll talk about these first two first. So the products tab is going to essentially take you into listing pages. I actually think I'm going to stop my screen share because I'm assuming, it doesn't let me toggle tabs. And I want to make sure you guys can see the full
Okay.
tab set up here. So let's just go into this window. Okay, let's try that again. So now that we have this, you can see on Amazon, if I were to go in and let's say type in something like protein powder, this is a search results page. I type something in. This is known as a keyword, right? This is a keyword. We type something in. We got a bunch of results back. We have over 20,000 competing products for the search term protein powder. And if I go down, my first few products are tagged with sponsored. So these are people that are running ads for their products. Then you have the organic. So let's just jump into one of these listings. And when I click this, what it's going to take me into is a product listing page. Most of you will be familiar with a product listing page because it has the add to cart and buy now buttons. You typically see the images on the left-hand side, the title, the bullet points, description. Hopefully you're all familiar with this. This is an example of an output. So when I'm inside a black box and I'm underneath the products tab, it's going to let me filter down different things by different things. And the output might be something like this, where it gives me a URL and then this product right here and says this product meets your criteria. This is going to be a little bit different from the keywords tab, where it is exactly what it sounds like. Instead of outputting products, it outputs keywords. So instead of this, we would then instead get something like protein powder. So hopefully basic enough. You have product listing pages for one, keyword. And you'll notice that the filters are a little bit different as well. For instance, the filter number of images. This isn't really applicable search term protein powder because this is not going to give me a basis of how many images are there inside of a niche like this. It's actually taking a look at the product listing page and telling me of these 9 spots that this seller has access, how many are being utilized. So this 7. Let's say we found somebody who, or a product listing page rather, that had a maximum of 4 images, and yet they were generating pretty decent revenue. So let's go over here to underneath sales, and it says parent level revenue. If I say I want to see them making a minimum of 3,000, and by the way, guys, if you're watching this from any other marketplace outside of the US, I urge you to change the marketplace to the marketplace you plan to sell in, because every marketplace is different, especially if you are in the Netherlands or in the UK or France or somewhere like that. You would have a different set of search terms that people are typing in. The consumers speak a different language, therefore you have a different set of output. The demand looks different for different search terms, and this is why we try to conduct all of the research. So if you're doing all of your research in Brazil, make sure that you are doing all of your research there. I'm just going to keep it here for now. Do is go in, maybe input different things. I've only inputted these 2 main categories. We can hop into that, show people it's actually live that we're filming up with a pre-recorded thing for you.
Yeah, I'm listening to you. Everything's working.
What do you want to select some of these?
Oh yeah, you chop a little bit.
Do you want to choose?
Of course. I think it's I think one of the categories that people like them. So I'll drop a challenge, because usually people don't like this category, which is electronics, because it's very hard to find something that's profitable. And I like, so I'm gonna give you a challenge, Shivali. So electronics, I would love to find a profitable product in electronics.
Okay, so we'll stick for all of our demos today. We'll stick in the electronics category. Now, remember that if you see this little side bar, then you can click it and it'll do a drop down for you. So you can select, maybe you decide, okay, I don't really want to do any ebook readers. There's a lot of cell phones. Maybe I don't want to do that. You can go in, kind of pick and choose as you see fit. Maybe I don't want to do tablets. It's really up to you. Sorry, go ahead.
Maybe we can do. No, I'm sorry. Just because you're chopping a little bit, I don't know if you're asking directly to me to choose one, but I would love to choose like wearables, maybe.
Wearables. Okay, is that in here?
Wearables.
Yeah,
it's wearables. Okay, cool.
So you can keep going down. Wearable technology is cool. I would say the only caveat to picking electronics is remember that your starting capital will have to be a little bit bigger if you opt for the electronics route, as well as you'll have to do a little bit more due diligence, because these sort of things can come with some specific regulations depending on the nation that you plan to sell it in. So, for example, you might have a dangerous good documentation that you'll need, hazmat testing, this sort of stuff, but you can do it. It's just the way that I see it, the more time that you put it in upfront for product research, the better and easier it'll be for you down the road. So nothing wrong with necessarily doing electronics. In fact, I sell electronics as well, but you will want to go in and just make sure that you've done your research and you do have the capital to get a decent amount of supply, even to begin with, because Amazon doesn't really per se love if you run out of inventory. And I had to learn that firsthand. So you will want to go in and select, like input in whatever that you see fit. You can play around with weight maybe, because also think about it like this. If you have heavier items like a sofa or a cabinet, that's going to be a lot heavier, but you'll need a lot more capital. So if you feel like you would rather work with smaller items, you can put in a maximum for that if you'd like. We have some other things, price point variations, etc. I'm going to click search just so you guys get a feel for this. We did a really basic search, actually, just some categories. And as you can see, it says viewing 1 of 50 of 500 items. We actually cap out our searches at 500. The whole goal of this is to remember to use the filters and narrow it down, as opposed to going through thousands and thousands of filters, right? Not filters, products, excuse me. So that's the whole goal, because if you were going through stuff manually, you might as well do it on Amazon. But if you want to get good data and you already have parameters in mind of what demand looks like, what sort of competition you want to be up and running against, you can just input it in and get the search back and then begin to validate ideas. Blackbox, I always say, is a great place to begin your short list of ideas. And then from there, you will want to go into validation phase and actually narrow things down from there. So right now, what we're taking a look at is a bunch of different products. For example, this one right here, I don't know what this is. Let's take a look. We have a sleeved cable kit. I'm reading that right? Maybe it's just the sleeve for cables.
Yeah, I was curious.
Right?
It's like,
do you know what this is?
And they have so many reviews. No, I'm trying to figure it out.
$99. Let's see if they have A+ content. Yeah, they do. Okay, great. So Pro Cables Pro Results represents the next generation of cables engineered for PC enthusiasts. I like that it's clean, easy to read, tells me what the product is now. Looks like they have specific sleeving technology that helps protect the wires. And then these are specifically just cables that are high quality.
Wow, very niche. Well, I really like products that are niche like that, because you target a very specific audience. And for you guys who are, just starting, like some people are just starting to watch us, we were talking about how to find that profitable product for you, even if you already have a business and you're looking for the next big thing for your brand. And I think this having your own brand is kind of a subject that is already known in the American market. But if you're Brazilian and if you're watching this, you got to understand that this kind of mindset is not very settled here in Brazil. However, this is the long game, right? So you got to understand that this is a must. You must develop your brand. You must find something that, either is a real current product, or either is something that you can really find a reliable supplier, and you can really shield your brand and the quality of your product and make it something at least, permanent as it can be, because sometimes we grow very attached to our products, but you must be attached to your margins and your profit, right? So we just right because when you're a seller, when you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you just love your product, but sometimes you gotta let it go. So that's why you must watch this until the end, because we just found something. Look at this. We barely understood what it was, but apparently it sells a lot. Apparently it's a good I don't even know. I still didn't understand, Shivali, what this is.
I think it's
probably
cable.
Not the target audience for this.
Yeah. I think they're just really high quality cables that come with great durability, because they have a sleeved encasing on top. So it's audio and video power cables.
Okay.
That's
Wow,
what it looks like
it
anyways.
looks beautiful.
Yeah,
Great,
really, really great high quality packaging. So
yeah,
that's just one example, and we've barely started the search. Like we just inputted, and that's the first product we found. Now, the other thing I would mention is when you're doing a search by products, you'll find really cool products, but it doesn't tell you a whole lot about the market, right? Because you can have a really great product, but if you have a lot of competition, for example, the protein powders, they always have thousands of reviews. Check this out, 70,000 reviews. Most of us when we're going to Amazon, we're taking a look at the social proof, and if we see that there's a great brand, cheap price, really high quality, thousands of reviews, then we might opt for that as opposed to something that's brand new on the market unless there's a really good differentiation factor. And so that is where we would want to potentially go in and continue our product research inside of the keywords section. So this is going to take a look at the search terms that people are typing into Amazon. Search volume is a pretty good way to figure out demand. So if I say that I want to find search terms that have a maximum of 3,000 for search volume, it means that there's about 100 searches a day that are occurring. You guys can go, I will say if you are doing this in the Brazil marketplace, the actual inputs might vary. So US is known to be the number one place, basically, right, for the Amazon marketplace. However, because of that, all of our numbers can end up being higher than other marketplaces. So if you're in Italy or Spain or France or Brazil, you might want to input something a little bit lower and you'll still be able to generate sales. That's why I would say there's no such thing as a right or wrong number. I think it's best to experiment and then make your own decision on whether or not you feel comfortable diving into that market. You also have other things over here in filters like monthly revenue, price point, review count. These are all pretty self explanatory. So, of course, monthly revenue means how much revenue is being generated per month. Your price point, remember that if you have a little bit more of a limited budget, you can't necessarily go super high. You're not going to be selling a $400 product if you only have $5,000 to start with a product launch, because the $400 product is probably going to cost you a bit of money
yeah.
just coming into the
And
into the
some
marketing pool.
and the client will expect like a very high quality. Otherwise, like why would you even consider
Right.
buying that, right? And I love what you talk about the American market, right? It's very saturated. I don't like that word because there's every day new sellers are starting and they're making business. So this is a misconception in my opinion, even in the United States where you have a very solid market. But I would like to just put a little bit of bring a little bit of knowledge about the Brazilian market for you, either if you're Brazilian or if you even American, because Amazon enables you to bring your business here to Brazil. So, and what's the best part of all this is that you're gonna probably just compete with so many, like it's just okay, I'll be very precise. 80,000 sellers. That's it. That's the amount of sellers that you're going to compete against here in Brazil, which is amazing. And if you're a Brazilian, picture that the competition, Mercado Livre, which is the biggest one here in Brazil, they have, I don't know, honestly, 100,000 sellers. But if you didn't start in on like if you didn't open your store on Amazon here in Brazil, you're just losing money. It's less competition. It's just less everything. Even the fees, FBA fees, all the fees here in Brazil are just so low, which is amazing, Shivali, because all the competition here in Brazil, they just rip us off. All the fulfillment centers and everything is just super expensive. But Amazon is just being like a big mom here for all of us. It's just giving everything away, rewards and great everything. Matter of fact, they just lowered the fees here in Brazil. Commission, like
Oh, wow.
the product, yeah, product fees. Some categories they lower like 3%, and for the FBA, just they lower like I think $3, kind of. It was very very good, and we're just trying to let people know, either if you're in America or here in Brazil, just you gotta hustle, you gotta find new ways to sell your product and find profitable products. And if you're not even exploring what new markets, maybe you can just start thinking about that too. So I just wanted to bring that piece of curiosity about Brazil. If don't know the market, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, and I think all of that goes to say that if you already have products established, Brazil might be a good marketplace for you to expand into, or at least ensure that you are already, taking advantage of the lower costs that are associated with it. Okay, so some other things: review count, review rating. These are both associated to the top products of a specific search term. So if I'm taking a look at the protein powders, all of these products that are on page 1, what is the rough average of the number of reviews as well as the ratings? Most of us don't really buy super low ratings, right? We want a really high quality product, especially because there's so many products on Amazon. There's no reason to buy something that doesn't have a great outstanding review associated to it. And so this might be a way for you to find some opportunity where maybe all the products aren't doing so great in terms of reviews. However, you can come in and deliver an outstanding product and be able to capitalize on what's existing in that market at the time. Word count. So the example I gave you guys earlier was the shadow work gray journal. That is shadow work gray journal. That's 4 words. That's a lot more specific than somebody that just typed in journal. We don't really know what they're looking for. That could be a 52-week journal, could be a gratitude journal, could be anything. And so the longer the words are, we call that a longer tail keyword, the better the buyer intent. Okay. And so word count might be something that you will want to input in to discern what sort of audiences are a little bit more ready to purchase. We can go back in and select electronics once more. And when we do that, we'll be able to keep our search congregated to just that category. Other things that we have, title density is a great thing to look at during product research. This is going to be the number of products on page 1 that have the keyword or the key phrase inside of the title. We've tested this with my products, with Helium10 products. And if you want to rank, let's say, really, really highly for a specific key phrase, for example, maybe you want to rank highly for something that's occurring on Valentine's Day, you could rank for it really, really fast if you were able to take that key phrase and just put it into your title. And so over the course of a couple days' time or 3 days' time or so, you would be able to rank for it. In fact, I've had a product rank for a keyword overnight as soon as I put it into the title. So a really fast way to take a steep incline on rankings. This is with, again, this in mind, that if you have a title density of 25 and you become the 26th product, that's not really going to serve you as well. But if you have a title density of maybe 2, so there's only 2 products on page 1 that have the key phrase inside the title, it's going to be a lot easier for you. But of course, you don't want to rank just for one product. You want to rank for multiple. And so that's why we have broad reach potential. This is going to tell you the potential of the keyword to generate new keywords in broad match campaigns on a scale of 1 to 10. And the last thing I'll cover here, I know we've been going for a little bit of time now, but competitor revenue, reviews, and ratings are very exclusive to Helium10. And that's why I want to make sure that you guys understand this. Instead of taking a look at the top products, as in everything you're seeing on page 1 at the very top with the review count and review ratings, the bottom 3, competitor revenue, reviews, and ratings, take a look at the top 10 organic placements. So excluding the sponsored tags, the 10 that we're really taking a look at would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. So of those 10, if I were to go back and say, I want to see a minimum of 3 have less than 150 reviews, it's saying 3 of the top 10 organic placements have less than 150 reviews. That's good for us, right? Because when we get launched, we are going to have 0 reviews most likely, or at least for a little while. Excuse me. But this sort of thing can be really, really beneficial in just gauging what it'll look like once you're actually launching. Will you be able to get some of the sales? Same thing over here for competitor revenue. You have maybe, say, 4, minimum of 4 making over 10,000, and you click search, you'll be able to see 4 of the top 10 placements have over 10,000 in revenue and less than 150. I'm not sure what I did. I feel like I breathed wrong or something.
Breathe the wrong pipe. You breathe on the wrong pipe.
The wrong way. Okay, so we have 200 plus keywords found here. And that's typically what you'll see. In products tab, you'll see 500 cap, and then here you'll see a 200. Our goal is really going to be to go back in and actually refine the search even more with more filters to get it down to a number that we can actually comb through. So maybe 70 or like 150. You can go through 200 plus if you would like to, but remember, there's no real difference between you just typing in the parameters that you have in mind versus trying to manually figure it out. So for example, instead of me trying to figure out, okay, am I going to be able to really rank for this a decent amount? I could just say, okay, I want to find all the keywords that have a maximum title density of 3. So I'd be able to rank for it a lot easier. We still have 200 plus keywords found. So I would even go back in and maybe say, do I want to find the markets where there's 4 of my top 10 placements have less than 150? Still a lot. Now, for example, iPod Case 4, we're not going to be selling an Apple product necessarily because that's not our brand. So maybe you want to go in and say exclude keywords and type in iPod, Apple, and anything else that you don't want to see. Or you can go in and include something. So we have a exclude keywords, but we also have a phrases containing somewhere, if I can find it, keyword search, this right here. So you can go in and just type it in there as well. If I click search, I'm assuming, yep, no such luck. So 200 plus keywords found. There's so much opportunity still based off the things that we put in. Cheap wireless headphones, small voice recorder.
Oh, I like that. Cheap wireless headphones. So specific.
Yeah, and it has a 713 search volume score. So if you open this up, you can see how it changes. The demand changes over time. Looks like for the most part, there's always some volume, but it's about 600 to peaking at 2,220. So it's really something that you can consider if you want to find something you'll be able to sell year round, not just a seasonal item. And not a single.
Sorry, Shivali, I have a question about that because I also sometimes I have this on my mind. I'm not quite sure how should I approach that. So when I have words such as like cheap or better quality, we do understand that those are kind of things that we cannot put on the title, right?
Yes,
but we do, yeah, we can. So guys, if you didn't know that, like high quality, exclusive design, or cheap, or something that you're kind of, so
it's an
Amazon
adjective.
doesn't, yeah, is it kind of an adjective that you're trying to guide the client to think about something specific. I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but basically people use those words. However, we cannot use like on our title or even on the image. So this is completely wrong. Do not do that. Usually Amazon suppresses either your title or your image because of that. So I would like to ask you, Shivali, if I were to use this sentence, this keyword here, cheap wireless headphone, would I insert that on my Amazon sponsored products, maybe as a way to match my product, but don't explicitly put that out there on my listing?
Yeah, that's a great question. You can put it into your bullet points actually if you wanted to, but again, it's an adjective. So we would recommend doing an exact match campaign most likely and see how the sales fare. If you're able to capitalize, great. If not, then you can move on and find additional keywords that are more relevant to your product that would be able to not describe it in the cheap formatting. If that is
Yeah,
actually the selling point, then hopefully people are able to tell that anyways based off of the price point, right? In the niche. You don't need to tell them it's cheap. They can see that based off the price point. And so if you're just trying
exactly.
to rank for this, then yeah, I think back-end keywords like any of the generic keywords that you can plug in subject matter or exact match campaigns would be good for this.
Perfect. Yeah, and I love to just highlight that exact words. They're just here in Brazil. Like people, we are really just starting with this keyword approach. Let's just say that most people, they're not very used to really diving deep on that. But obviously, if you're watching us, probably you're in America and you're in the hardest, I would say, market. So you got to understand, you learn along the way, because those are the differences. So Shivali already brought here, she was explaining two different things. And if you don't know, broad keywords and exact keywords, the sentence that they're a little bit more long. So those are a few terms that are pretty basic, but if you don't understand that, just hop on Google real quick, just ask for a few examples so you can just keep track of what we're explaining to you here. But don't worry, this is something, if you're starting right now, if you're a beginner, along the way you're gonna learn, you're gonna understand how the exact matches are gonna work for you, and sometimes how broad you gotta be just to reach out like a broader audience, right?
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. So, a lot of the information that you'll end up seeing as an output here is gonna be the same stuff that you saw up top. But as I really mentioned before, I feel like this gives you a pretty good overview of how you can quickly find different product ideas that you can then further validate. I do always recommend that you guys take the chance to open up these, for example, clip earbuds. I don't know what that is, but you can click view on Amazon right here by clicking the three dots. And when you do that, then you can begin your validation process of whether or not it's something that you would actually want to opt for. So maybe since we're seeing clip earbuds, and if we realize that it's not a brand, then this could be kind of associated to the term that we were looking at before, the cheap wireless Bluetooth or headphone, right? You want to see sort of identify a common pattern or theme that you're seeing in these results. And once you see multiple search terms that tend to fit your parameters and that do have the demand associated to them, low enough competition, then you have something that you would then want to further validate. Okay. So I think for today, I've thrown a lot of information at you guys, but hopefully you can use this to at least kind of get the ball rolling and begin to think of things in the sense of validation from here. Because from here, what you're really going to end up doing is taking a look at the images, see if you can incentivize the customer to stop the scroll. Most of us just like, we're so used to it from social media. We're just constantly
Exactly.
scrolling. And so you want to be able to catch the consumer's attention. And then you'll also want to take a look at the title, the bullet points. Do they have good keywords? Do you have keywords that other people maybe aren't utilizing? You can use the tool like our Chrome extension for that. So if you go to helium10.com/extension, you can just download it and add it to your browser, and it'll show you a lot of the information we were looking at inside of my Amazon. So when you were on Amazon, you saw that I highlighted a revenue section over my product listing, and I have access to that because I have the extension installed. And so you can take a look at making sure the demand lasts over time. Do the images look like you could do something better? Do you have, check out the reviews. When you're inside the extension, you can even click into review insights and get a breakdown of what people are talking about the most. What are they talking about the least? What do they hate? What do they love? And then you can use all this to build a better product down the road. Okay. And then even later on after that, you'll be able to use those reviews to figure out how you want to build out your graphics, what you want to incorporate in your images and video content, what sort of things you want to address in your title and your bullet points and your A+ content, and so much more. So hopefully that gives you a good start, and I hope you learned something new here today.
Absolutely. I just loved it. Thank you very much, Vali. And I would love to end this here with like a question. So since you're a seller yourself, what are the things that you recommend when you if I'm starting a business right now, what would you tell me to do if I'm looking for that profitable product? Should I look for products that don't have returns or they are not heavy? What would be your recipe for success on that?
I would not recommend getting stuck on analysis paralysis. I think a lot of us want to get it right the first time, and
Okay.
I've definitely been in those
Yeah.
shoes a couple of times myself. But truly, the thing about being in business is you're going to have to learn through your own trials and errors. You can try to make all the right steps, and yet setbacks are a natural part of business. I'm not saying that to discourage you, but rather to remind you that it's important to have a growth mindset when you come to these things, because you truly never know what's going to come your way until you give it a shot. If you have a certain budget, let's say you have $5,000 budget, $4,000 budget, $10,000 budget, that's great. Don't use all of that budget on sourcing your product. Meaning if you have $10,000, don't say I'm going to take all 10,000 and then buy $10,000 worth of inventory. Take a fraction of that, take maybe a third or a fourth of that only, and use that as your sourcing budget. Okay, because you're going to need a little bit later on when you need to get that product from, say, let's say you sourced in Indonesia or you sourced it in India or China. Wherever you got it, you're going to need to get that product into the marketplace you plan to sell in. That's going to cost you a little bit of money for shipping. And then you're going to need maybe money for building out the images or getting ad costs in place and running some ads in the beginning. You might lose a little bit of money. Hopefully, if it's part of your budget, you don't see it as a loss, but rather an investment to get the ball rolling as your product is up and listed. So I really encourage you to remember not to spend all your money, use it as a trial and error. every time you have a setback, remember it's a learning lesson to figure out how to improve and navigate forward. And so with that being said, hopefully that sets you up in a way to really address all the issues that come up later on, and build a really strong foundational piece for your business.
That's amazing. I love that, and especially because sometimes people also forget that not only everything that you just mentioned, they are on the list to open the business, but we gotta, you gotta open the business itself, like the LLC. You have to take care of all the other things, such as Amazon ads, and maybe creating a key visual for your brand, and the logo and all those things. Those are investments, and you got to understand it. Even if you have like, oh, I have 10 grand, I'm solid, I'm going to start this and I'm going to just straight to success. Absolutely. If you're really plan, if you do something just like Shivali said, you just allocate in different areas, because a business is not just the products. It's just so much more than that. And if you feel like you don't have I'll say, if you don't have the stomach to have to go through errors, and sometimes things don't go exactly the way we plan, just breathe a little bit, just plan a little bit more, and then you start. But just don't let the dreams just be dreams. Just start, right? And I hope this live brought a little bit of more knowledge for you, that if you're trying to find proper products. And well, I can definitely tell you that Helium10 will help you through all this journey. And well, just finishing with that, let me just put here a banner. Let's see here. Okay.
And while you do that, I think the only thing I want to mention and add on to the whole fees thing is, I say you might need some fees for maybe images or something like that. Remember that you can also do it yourself. It's not, I wouldn't call it a necessity. I do a lot of my stuff myself, my own images, my own video content, all that stuff. But if you are somebody who feels you would rather outsource your creative aspects of the business, or analytical stuff, or accounting, whatever the case may be, you will need a built-in budget for that. So I always also overestimate costs. If you want to find a profitable product, which is the whole topic for today, I didn't cover it, but inside of the extension, when you download it, you'll notice that there's 6 different options if you are on Amazon itself. Then when you are on a product listing page, this means the add to cart or buy now button, you have the option to choose profitability calculator. And I recommend playing around with numbers for that, because if you play around with the numbers, you'll notice that the margins will change. You don't have to sit there and calculate all your profit margins. You can just click profitability calculator and see what the outcome is. However, in going in and seeing that, I've actually seen 1 inch make a difference. So even the dimensions of your product can make a drastic difference. $4 or $5 can change. $10 can change. It just depends on the product, and you won't know until you give it a shot. I always also overestimate. Ad costs are not included in the profitability calculator. So there's a section for other costs. Just input in an overestimation. And so that way, when you see that an ROI of over 100% is there, then you have something that's a little bit better situated to being profitable, but also having that built-in leg room where you're not panicking if you're spending a little bit of extra money on ads or on something else.
Perfect. That's great advice. And well, I would like to thank you very much, Shivali, for your time here with us. And obviously, if you're watching us, we have something special for you. And as you can see here below, special offer, 60% off. This is the best offer I've ever seen for Helium10. Natasha was amazing, and she brought this special offer just for you guys. We're watching here. So if you click below in the description, you can find 2 types of plans, annual plans with this discount. So you gotta understand that Helium10 is a life-changing tool. It's a life-changing tool. You can search product, you can search keywords, but you can also learn so much more about your business. You have the listing. I always forget that I receive an email every day with like listing analyzer, right? And I just love that thing. Just every day, just like, hey, are you looking? Did you check your business today? I just love that. And there's so much more that we didn't cover here. So you gotta learn for you gotta touch and do things for you to learn and to understand a little bit better, more about Helium10. But I can assure you there's nothing better than Helium10 out there when it comes to selling on Amazon. And if you're in the United States or Brazil, whatever, they cover you. They have all the markets. And that's also an add-on. It's not even an add-on, it's simply what they do. Which is so much better than other tools out there, because sometimes they just cover one market. And here you have so many others that you can explore and branch out your business. Why not? Just branch out. This is just an opportunity for you. So thank you once again, Shivali. This was amazing. And this was my first YouTube channel in English. So I'm very excited about this. And I'm very happy that Helium10 enabled this meeting, this live with you. I'm feeling very honored. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. For those of you that watched, if you learned something new, which I'm sure you did, make sure to subscribe to Jess's channel. See you guys next
thank
time.
you very much. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, click the like button down here, please. This is free content for you. Yeah, click in the link and subscribe. I was so excited that I completely forgot about that. Thank you, Shivali. Okay, see you guys next week, next Wednesday, because every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Brazil time, we have a special live here. Always new subject. So we have a date every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Thank you very much. See you next.
See you guys.